Disturbing movies that were banned from the theaters. A director was arrested for making a movie? Let's find out. Disturbing scenes and horror are common parts of a movie, but sometimes these movies take the depiction of violence and horror so far that it makes people feel disturbed even though the movie might be a masterpiece, like in the case of A Clockwork Orange. Today we will be looking at disturbing movies that were banned from the theaters, so without any further ado, let us get right into it. 6. A Clockwork Orange. While many of the other films were only banned in 1 or 2 countries, the ban on A Clockwork Orange was more widespread. Stanley Kubrick directed the dystopian crime film in 1971, based on the 1962 novel. Much of the film revolves around Alex DeLarge and his group of friends' violent criminal activities, which are depicted in graphic and uncensored detail. As a result, the film was banned in a number of countries, including Ireland, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Brazil, Malta, and the Canadian provinces of Alberta and Nova Scotia. Many of these countries eventually lifted the ban and either gave the film a R rating or censorship. It was first released in the United Kingdom in 1971, but it was pulled from circulation after a number of copycat crimes, similar to those depicted in the film, occurred. After Kubrick's death in 1999, it was released. 5. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the first of many films produced as part of the American Horror franchise, which was most recently released in February 2022. Despite its eventual success, this original film was banned in many countries or forced to cut certain scenes in others. It was first released in the United Kingdom in 1974, but it was quickly banned before being reinstated in 1998. It was outright banned in Finland, France, Chile, Brazil, Iceland, Ireland, Norway, Singapore, West Germany, and Sweden, though the film has since been released in many of these countries. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was cut out of theaters primarily due to the high level of violence and cruelty. 4. A Serbian film. A Serbian film explicitly incorporates historical horrors into its on-screen carnage. It tells the story of an adult film star who is duped into appearing in an increasingly heinous film. The most heinous scenes in the film are truly heinous, including the rape and murder of a newborn infant, sex with corpses, and a climax in which the protagonist is tricked into sexually assaulting his own child. It's not surprising that it's been banned in Germany, Norway, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, Spain, and Singapore, with countries that eventually allowed the film's release usually requiring censorship and cuts first. The director of this film was also charged with a crime for daring to show it, but the charges were later dropped. 120 Days of Sodom. Salo, a metaphor for fascism and state abuse, is one of the most legitimately disturbing, disgusting, and horrifically explicit films you'll ever see. Set in the Republic of Sal under Benito Mussolini, the film depicts a cabal of depraved elites imprisoning, raping, murdering, and dehumanizing a large group of children. It's the kind of film you only want to watch once, if at all. It was banned in the United Kingdom and New Zealand for decades after its release in 1975, and it was mostly banned in Australia until 2010, with the exception of a brief window when a theatrical release was permitted. 2. Hostel Part 1 and 2. Many Europeans may have objected to the first Hostel for portraying Europe as a depraved tourist death blender, but it was only in Ukraine that the film pushed enough buttons to be banned. Both Hostel and its sequel were outlawed in the country for depicting the neighborhood as a place where tourists are routinely tortured for money. Despite the ban, the film is still legal for private viewing. The uncut version of Hostel Part 2 is banned in Germany and New Zealand, and the film was only released in Malaysia and Singapore after scenes of torture, violence, and death were cut. Though the film is not prohibited in the country, politicians in the United Kingdom have argued that images from the film could be considered illegal as recently as 2007. 1. Cannibal Holocaust. Cannibal Holocaust is presented as a film within a film, with the main focus being a documentary about a missing film crew that is meant to appear as real as possible. Actual animals were killed on screen, adding credibility to the fabricated deaths of the human characters. To help sell the illusion, The actors' contracts stipulated that they would not appear in any other movies, TV shows, or advertisements for a year. The film's graphic content came back to haunt director Ruggero Deodato, who was arrested by Italian authorities shortly after the film's premiere in Milan in February 1980 on charges of obscenity and suspicion of making a snuff film. The fact that the actors appear to have vanished complicated Deodato's defense. Deodato demonstrated the film's special effects, displayed behind-the-scenes photos, and brought actors from the film into the public eye in order to keep them out of prison. The real animal killings still led to the film being banned by Italian authorities, a judgment that was echoed by Australia, Norway, Finland, and New Zealand. Customs officials in Australia confiscated copies of the film, and other countries, such as the United Kingdom, only allowed the film to be released in censored form. Anyway, this wraps up our video for today. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments section down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel while you're at it.